Good afternoon and welcome again to Give Me Something, the show that's getting Joey and I in all sorts of trouble and all sorts of feedback during the week. But it's been a bit of fun so far. You had a cracking week last week.
Did okay. Got to take everything with a grain of salt with what we're doing here, but we're just trying to look ahead a little bit. Every show on TV all looks back at what happened on the weekend. We're just trying to predict a little bit.
It's a little bit of fun, isn't
it?
Yeah. So the fact that we say we hate Fremantle, we don't really hate Fremantle.
That's right.
Just a little bit of truth. The fact we say we hate Essendon, we do hate Essendon, but we move on. We're having a bit of fun, so just let us be. Right. So last week, you had a fantastic week. Your absolute last week was Taylor and Buckley to terrorise the Saints forwards. Now, Taylor went off very early.
He did. But I still give that a tick because Max King had no influence at all, didn't kick a goal, and I think Caminiti kicked the last 2 goals of the game, so he was held goalless up until about 5 minutes to play, and Tim Embry didn't have a huge influence. So at three-quarter time, I was sitting pretty, but unfortunate news about Sam Taylor.
I'm happy to give you a tick on that one.
Thank you.
I'm very happy Harley Reid versus Dusty. We lit up upstairs last Sunday afternoon when that happened, didn't we?
We did. We were waiting for it. The Dusty fend-off. Who was going to give it to who? Was Harley Reid going to stick one on Dusty's chest? And we did get it. I don't know how big it was. I don't know.
He chased it.
You reckon he went looking for it?
Yeah.
I reckon by the end of his career, that won't make his top 500 fend-offs. But for now, we'll give that one. I'll take that. So he did get the fend-off. That was a great matchup, and Harley Reid came out on top.
He did. He had a fantastic day. He's great to watch the kid. And your roughie, it just went gangbusters. Everywhere I was hearing about this, pretty much at SEN they were talking about it. Brisbane to knock off the Demons and enter top 4 discussions.
I think Hoyne and I were the only two that were onto it.
As I promised last week.
Thank you.
You get the little trophy. You haven't seen the Count of Monte Cristo, have you?
I'm a bit too young.
Yeah, you're a bit too young. Yeah. You're a bit too young by about 45 years.
It's
King's to... You hand the trophy over. So whoever has the reigning title... King's to you.
Beautiful. First trophy I've ever won, to be fair. So I'll take that for the...
I should have got a bigger one. If I'd known that, I would have got a cup of sauce.
That's actually going on the mantelpiece. Hey, what about... Let's take a look at yours. You're absolute. It's pretty generic, but you said that the big-bodied midfielders, the Fremantle and Port Adelaide midfielders would go toe-to-toe. It was actually a pretty good battle.
Great game.
Fremantle probably...
I didn't really care, to be fair, who actually won the game. Yep. I just wanted to see them go head-to-head and have a chat with you about them last week.
Yep.
I got the Blues wrong.
Yeah, that was your possible. You thought they'd dominate the Crows and win by 50. That was a big cross. That was a surprise.
Well, the Crows' midfield was changed, admittedly, going into that game. Yeah. So had I known that, I might not have been so strong.
Your roughie.
What did you think about
Well, you said Norton, Jamara and Darcy did combine for 12 goals against the Bombers. They kicked 6 goals, 8 between them.
I know.
So I'm going to give you sort of a half-pass mark there.
And people get stuck into me and they say, you don't like the Bombers. You know what? I don't like the Bombers. The Kangaroos have never liked the Bombers. I don't know why that's a fascination to people.
I've seen there's already a meme going around about you with the Bombers, and I'm in the same boat. Every time we've said something about the Bombers on this show, we've got it wrong. So guess what? Interestingly, neither of you are going near that. We're not going near that game tonight.
They'll win the flag, Essendon. They'll win the flag. Okay, let's get started. My absolute is I'm staying with Port Adelaide because I love what they're doing, and I think they're really quite an exciting team. And I talk a lot this year about being able to punish his premium in 24. So when you win the footy, how do you get that on the scoreboard, whether it's from stoppage or from clearance? So I'm looking at the stoppages. I sort of think the Pies are gettable here. They've lost their last 3 clearance battles against teams that I would have thought they'd have beaten. St Kilda, Brisbane and Hawthorn. So I'm concerned about the Pies in this area. Port were plus 29 clearances going into last week's battle, which was a cracker. I know last time they met, Collingwood just blew them away at the MCG. 70-odd points it was, and it was a game that made you sit up and say, wow, who are Collingwood? This is unbelievable. I just feel like Port have got that sort of sitting in their bottom of their stomach saying, hey, we've got to right this wrong. They've won, I think they've won their last 3 at the G. Yep. They don't mind going there. I can just see them getting hold of Collingwood in the midfield with these 3 young guns in the midfield going crazy.
Yeah, that's fair, and that's their game. If they do dominate clearance in midfield, they played in their forward half, and that's how they like to play. So they'll be hard to beat if that's the case.
And I'll be tipping them in an upset. So they are the most lethal team in the competition. So it's not a stretch to say that with their midfield. Where are you going?
Well, I'm going to the game Thursday night, St Kilda Bulldogs. This is a massive game, and I'm looking at the 2 skippers who are in some sort of scintillating form. Marcus Bontempelli, the 3rd highest rated player in the game at the moment. Jack Steele, 6th highest rated, Kingy. He's having a sensational season. I think these two, the 2 captains, will just go toe-to-toe. Not necessarily play head-to-head, but they'll both be dominant. They'll both be the 2 best players on the field because they know what's at stake for the loser.
Best players.
Well, they'll be in the 2. Those 2 will be in the top 5 best players on the ground.
It's a bit narrow. I want to flare it out a little bit.
We'll go the best 5 players on the ground. Those 2 will be the 2 best players for their respective teams because they understand the significance of this game. The loser goes 2 and 4, and there'll be all sorts of pressure on them come Monday. And they've both got tough games to follow on the road against strong opposition. So I think there is plenty at stake. And these two skippers who are playing sensational footy, get a lot of clearance numbers, a lot of score involvements, a lot of tackles, will have to play their best football to try and drag their team over the line. One will do it, and one of them's going to fall short and leave their team in a bit of a tricky spot.
I've got something for you Sunday night about the first receive player, the handball receive player. So how do you see that game unfolding? Because the Saints are winning a stack of footy, but there's no joy on the outside.
No, there's not.
No damage.
There's not, but I think the way the Bulldogs defend is they'll give them a look. They'll give St Kilda a look. The way they like to guard space and St Kilda like to kick their way through, I think it might suit them. Max King out's going to hurt, but I've just got more faith in Ross Lyon, his coaching group, and this St Kilda team. I think they'll just get over the line. Like
it. Might possible. Something that may happen, but it's a bit of a stretch. The Cats rarely cough up 100 points. I think they did it 3 or 4 times last season. They haven't done it this season defensively. I think for the first time in 2024, Brisbane, who looked really sharp last week, who looked like they had their forward 50 in order. We did the game sitting upstairs. Charlie, 30 from goal, not out of the goal square. The big boppers, just keeping those key defenders honest. At all times. That's what you need to do against Geelong. You need to have a focus and a bead on where Stewart lines up and make sure that he doesn't intercept Mark. I think they can do that. I think McCarthy can cover that sort of play. He plays that zoning, intercepting defender really well. They don't have a player kick a big bag against the Cats. I was having a look through the start of this season. 3's the most. Membury's done it. Chol did it. Darcy did it, and Eddie Ford did it. It was a strange one. Eddie Ford getting thrown in there as a wild card. They don't have one player generally clamp them or get hold of them. I think Joe is ready for a big day. I really do. Getting back up to the Gabba, they'd lost their last couple there. The Brisbane forward 50, in terms of where it sits in the competition at the moment, is just going. It was a real weapon for them last year. Yep. So I think it's about time they turn the page, make another statement off the back of what they did last week and have a strong win.
Yeah, I'm with you. Pretty confident Brisbane win this game. I think so.
Confident, I like that.
I think I'm confident
Can
Brisbane.
Can they kick 100 points?
That's a tough ask against the Cats. They are an elite defence.
I went too far.
Maybe 100 stretching it, but I think they'll win.
What do you think?
Well, might possible, and a little bit mischievous with this one, but I'm looking forward to the Carlton Giants game. I think it's going to be a cracker. Both teams decimated by injury. So Carlton, no Chera, no Sard, no McGovern. Still missing a couple other players, but that's countered by no Sam Taylor, no Steve Coniglio. I think this will be a beauty. I think this will be another close game. You know, Carlton, 8 of their last 11 games have been decided by 10 points or less. They've been on the right side of the ledger. They were 7-0 in those close games. We know about the loss to Adelaide. I think they'll lose another one. Another close game by inside 10 points, Carlton, and just start to get them nervy with a run to come of Carlton. After this game, they've got the Cats, Collingwood, Melbourne and Sydney away. I just think they'll get beat. It'll be a close one, and it just starts to get a little bit interesting for the Blues about where they're at with some tough games to come. So looking forward to it, but just a possibility they get beaten 2 in a row.
They are a rolling game of 2 up, Carlton. Yeah, it's always just line ball which way it's going to finish up. Hey, let's get into some roughies.
All right, what's your roughie?
My roughie, I'm looking at Harry Sheezel get 1,000 touches down back, and he's a beautiful player, and he kicks the ball beautifully. And I wonder whether Clarko will get to the stage where he says, you know what, I look at Heaney, I look at Shea Bolton, I look at Petrarca, and all the guns play the front 2/3 of the ground. They don't go back, not back of centre, maybe marginally back of centre, but they certainly don't go into the deep 50. You've got to have score involvements when you've got a player of this calibre. If you play half-back, the absolute best you can do is about half a dozen. Whitfield and Houston average half a dozen. Yep. The centre forward guys are 10 to 12, and that's what you need from a guy like Harry Sheezel. I think it's time to demand more of their best player. He's their most informed player, has been since the start of last year. So put your maximum damage player where he needs to play. I can see him having 30 touches and kicking 2 and getting the 3 Brownlow votes or being best on ground.
Does that mean they win?
Of course they win. I've got to tip them. Look, this is a game they can win. Yep. They've been awful bringing the ball out of the back half, but they've got to go and win a game. You've got to go and play and set up to rip the heart out of the opposition. That's not saving it down back.
This is the winnable game. Sheezel, 3 Brownlow votes. I like it as your roughie. Hey, my roughie, and remember, because this goes on social media and they only see the clips, it's just a roughie. It's just a bit of pie-in-the-sky stuff.
Drop it.
Can West Coast do it again? Can they continue on their momentum and knock off Fremantle in a derby over in Perth? Because if you look at the last 4 weeks, West Coast are 3rd in the competition for contested possessions and clearances, 6th from scores from clearance. They're doing a lot right through the midfield. That is a powerful trio of Yo, Tim Kelly and Harley Reid. If they can win clearance against Fremantle and put them on the back foot,
That'd finish their year.
Oh, could they with this momentum?
I know what you're doing here.
Could they?
You're drawing me into this negative Fremantle stuff again. I'm not coming with you.
I think Fremantle will win. They're favourites and they should win, and they probably will. But I just want to throw it out there as the roughie, pie in the sky. Can the Eagles make it back-to-back and just throw this season into all sorts of chaos?
I'm thinking about becoming a Fremantle member just to keep them all just at bay. Hey, give me something we love when we get something a little bit lateral. And this week, it was the coach, Sam Mitchell, who gave us something. I love when a club says, bring your mouth guards to training on Monday.
Yeah, when we're not playing.
When you're not playing.
When we're finished.
This is what happened during the week. It was a genuine... there was a lot of wrestling, a lot of mano on mano. Did you used to hate that?
Oh, yeah. I got the shivers when I heard Sam Mitchell talk about it because it used to happen a lot at St Kilda. The wrestles, the one-on-ones, it just saps the energy.
Yeah.
It's not much fun, but sometimes it's just a sharpen up. It's as much a mental thing as it is a physical thing. Gets the players on edge, just gets them focused back on what they need to do and what they're not going to accept, and it's going to be interesting to see the response that we get from the Hawks this week.
Get in the boxing ring after one of those?
Yeah, we did a little bit, yeah.
How'd
I made sure I picked Nick Del Sano.
Make your pitch
I made sure I got Dal with me so I didn't get hurt.
We've got vision of that next week. Give us something, you and Dal. That'll be special. See you next week.